saying yes, 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 to be able to and talk to the people that don't understand or agree. Yeah, or agree.
Yeah, and name calling is an awful thing to do. I mean, you guys all are agreed that Marcus is a nice person.
I that's never even been brought up.
We've only talked for a short time, one time.
Oh.
I don't even know if Hella's a nice person myself. I think so. She might be. Good start.
Yeah, okay. I'm under extreme delusion just like everybody else, and I'm happy to admit that.
Well, there's nothing to be ashamed about it, and it's not delusion in terms of some womanizing issues, but there's nothing to be so apologetic about, especially as women, but that's a whole nother topic. Can I ask a question, or I don't want to lose a thread here, Paula. You come back and navigate us, or direct, or what's it called, mediate. Yeah, I'm a little hesitant. It might be another time with Ugly George. I don't know much about him. I certainly get all kinds of reactions in terms of some womanizing issues, but I think that's another topic. But I don't want to go off board. What, Paula?
No, I'm fine about that topic. Absolutely fine, and I think it's really important. So I'd like you to speak.
You know, I have to say the reason I hear all of the show yesterday, I heard Marcus praise him. I don't know what Rosalie knows about Ugly George. I don't know anything about him.
Oh, you didn't see the show that I did? Probably not, because it was just posted.
I saw some production stuff yesterday, but I was also half in and out all day long, so I wasn't really watching. That's why I think I might retract and watch before I speak, you know, before all my Hugh Hefner buttons go off and, you know, women as sex objects and, you know, so forth and so on. And maybe it's based on the goddesses having the power and the breasts and all this, or is that just a sugar-coated, you know, I don't know enough
Did you hear what he said about...
You should pop another tape in there, Paula.
I do. It's, you know, each tape is a lot of hours for me with compressing and uploading and things like that.
Marcus,
but
can Marcus give a summary, or do people already know about him? I don't want to backtrack here.
Yeah, Marcus, I'd like to hear how you feel about
it.
A
summary about myself or about Ugly George?
About Ugly George.
Oh, Ugly George, sure. Ugly George is, this is my first impression. Apparently he created a reality TV series by shooting real women who don't get paid to show their anatomy. And he was able to take that content, put it on public access TV, and create sort of a firestorm by doing that. He was kicked off the air 5 times, I understand,
right.
And which is hypocritical because, and Paul and I talk about this, Manhattan Neighborhood Network, apparently, according to Ugly George, is the only uncensored public access franchise on the planet, yet they've kicked him off 5 times. Is that the gist of it?
Right.
And I admire him because he doesn't, I admire him not because of what he's done with women, but because he seems like he's a guy that I'd like to hang out with and talk about real truth and stuff. It sounds like he'd be very receptive to that. That's what I admired about him. Not what he does with the women.
Yeah. He's not interested in 9/11 truth?
Oh, it sounds like he could be.
Yeah.
A little disappointed because, I get the impression that he's a bit into politics, as you know, and I talked about this. Politics is more fake than worldwide wrestling, and I really lose my cool when people talk about politics, smart people.
Sorry, I don't have my muter thing on for the call waiting. I thought I put it on. Sorry.
So I just think he's a kind of guy that I could hang out with, and I think he's the type of guy who could really help us spread real truth about what really happened on 9/11 with his connections and how famous he is. So I admire him in that respect.
So you don't think that would be confusing, like you felt Nico, how do you
right.
say his name?
Nico Haupt, right. To me,
it confuses things with porn, but yet Ugly George is associated with women showing their breasts.
Great question, and here's my reply to that. It is what it is with this Ugly George, and I've never met this guy before, and it sounds like this guy's like a legend. Everyone knows him in New York City. It's like Hugh Hefner. If out about 9/11 stuff, there's much more of gravitas. There's much more weight to what he has to say than when Nico, who is well respected in the fake video realm, comes out and he's been doing straight up stuff, and then all of a sudden introduces porn in the middle of his videos. It's very, very confusing.
Yeah.
And to say that it's to attract an audience who might be looking for porn, hoping to sway them into 9/11 truth.
In Nico's case, it's more for art. I'm speaking of the Animal Friends and their videos with girlies in them.
Okay, well, art. Well,
those are cool.
Yeah, that's okay. That's your
they
opinion.
sent the 911 message that they didn't really use planes to the farthest realms of the internet.
Now, the problem that I have is I'm on the boards all the time, in between me running my business, and I know for a fact, and I've talked to people, including you, who are at least, and I'm being kind, confused by what message Nico is doing with that art. But that's his opinion. He's welcome to do whatever he likes. It's just,
Thank
to me,
God.
it's a shame.
This week we have our God-given rights still.
No, the only right that we have is the right to vote, actually. So we don't have any rights.
With no choice, but anyway.
Right.
And
we have the right, by the way, that's not true. We have two rights. We have the right to remain silent. But those are the only two rights that we still have.
Can I ask something, Hella? Were you listening to the stream about Obama? Did you understand how this whole interview came about?
A little bit of it. I don't have a vibratory good feeling about him. I think Ugly George didn't say anything new. There was an excellent article about Hillary and Obama in the New Yorker a few weeks ago, very, very intelligently laying out both sides. And one basically said what Ugly George was saying, that change gets a knee-jerk reaction. And, I mean, it's almost like kindergarten that people are following him. It's kind of...
Okay, well, here's what I want to say. There was a very, very beautiful moment that I picked up. I don't know how all of you are feeling. I know Rosalie is... like you say, you're respecting her work, and I think you have to understand, Marcus. She's made an emotional connection to this to Edna, right?
Oh, definitely, sure.
So this is a very delicate situation. But what Hella brought up was pointing that the most important part of all of this is for us to stay connected, or to respect each other enough as human beings who are trying to unfold the truth. Now, I would like to extend that all the way to the people who are players in 9/11, who are the perpetrators of it, because I think ultimately we are all one humanity. So basically, Hella, after George showed this part on the internet that's going around, it's about 500,000 hits now, where this guy is talking about giving a blowjob to Obama. And
wait a minute, I have to interrupt now, and then I thought, well, is that Republican Monkey Shines putting that out?
Well, just try to listen carefully, because I'm not talking about Republican, Democrat, liberal, homosexual, crack addict, non-crack addict. I'm saying that he put out information that certain people who like Obama wishes he didn't. Right? Harold Channer likes Obama. A lot of people are under that sway. And even when I say under that sway, I've given a loaded term. But in the early part of the stream, when he called in after listening to Nico, and that's what got me to bring this picture of Krishna with the Gopi girls. Were you there when I was explaining this picture, Hella?
Yep.
So
I'm saying yes.
You heard that? That to know God, you have to be naked?
Mm-hmm.
So what I felt was that he was describing a process where, as a human being and as a spiritual practice, if Obama goes through this, he just puts it out to the people to say, this was my experience, and let the people decide. And the people may well say, you know what, nobody's perfect.
Or we're so desperate for this word change, we don't want to know.
Well, but that's different.
To me,
that's different. What Ugly George is putting up is saying, look it, you may want change and you may love all the stuff that he's saying, but he's a human being. Now, he's not saying he's a bad human being. But Ugly George is saying people should know that. He said, let the viewers decide. This is something that I think people don't understand about Ugly George and haven't understood for a long time, just like they don't understand Harold Channer. Ugly George and Harold Channer are completely...
But they've already manipulated the viewers.
Right.
Excuse me?
I mean, that's kind of...
What are you saying, Hella?
That's like Fox. That's like Fox News saying, "We report, you decide." They report that you don't have a choice.
Right. I mean,
Hallie? I want to throw this out, and this will fascinate. I just found this out. Did you guys know that 42 out of the 43 presidents are all directly related to each other? Some are 10th removed cousins, but some, like Obama, is related to Dick Cheney. This is admitted in Lynn Cheney's book. And I told this to a waiter at Cracker Barrel on my date night Tuesday, and I said there's a 19-year-old kid who's going to ready to vote, and I just took the wind out of his sail. He's like, that means the elections are rigged. I said, exactly. Why do we even talk about this? This is a huge distraction. 42 out of 43 presidents are related. Ron Paul, if you looked at Ron Paul 20 years ago, he's going to win, by the way. I'm almost positive. 20 years ago, he looks exactly like George Bush. My wife saw that. I saw a video of him on video. My wife's like, what is George Bush doing on that show? I said, that's Ron Paul. I mean, this is crazy talk that we talk about this.
I did hear something about family trees and how the DNA, that there was something kind of tricky about that, too, where this very sweet redneck guy was meeting this very large-sized black woman who's supposed to be related to him, and it was kind of touching in terms of bringing races together, but it turned out to be misinformation.
Right.
All these so it kind of reminds me of that, but I'm not trying to take the wind out of your sails. But honestly, what suddenly pops into my mind is not directed at you or anybody, but I get this, so what? You know, but what are we going to do?
Exactly, and that's what I'd love to talk every Thursday about, are solutions. One thing that you'll never hear Alex Jones and all the quote-unquote truth movement talking about is what's the next step. And I actually admire Nico for saying this. Nico said, here are the 40 companies that probably use these weapons against us. Go to the conference, confront them. Now, I know you don't like to confront, but at least he has a solution.
What do you mean we don't like to confront?
Well, with the nonviolent communication.
That's not true. I went up to the CIA guy, to Robert Steele. I went up to Kucinich. I like to be as nice as I can to make the connection, but certainly confront. I'll confront you now, Marcus.
Wrong word.
Why do you tell me not
to... Semantics, sorry. Engage. To engage.
No. See, I wish more people knew about Rosenberg, and I wish, it almost is required experience before coming on rabbit hole, just so we have our terms down. That's what I was trying to say earlier. When somebody's screaming, you and I have a discussion, and you're so emotionally screaming, my position would be to be present for you and listen and be happy that you're screaming, because that is what's alive in you. Mm-hmm. That is the truth coming out. Mm-hmm. But to be able to, I'm going to use my own words, be brave and not frightened in myself, trusting enough in myself that I can hear you and be present. And by that presence, start healing the situation. Mm-hmm. Now, healing might be a little la-la word, but, making progress is sitting and listening and empathizing with myself if I'm ready to cry because I'm so afraid, or upset for Rosalie because I want so much for her to know I support her. Mm-hmm. But again,
right,
quiet or silent, and by my presence, creating harmony.
Right.
And that's what's meant. So that would be higher levels of confrontation. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Confrontation, again, brings up so many buzzwords, but it's very much about interacting. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And how we interact and allowing the person to finish and not feeling hurried. Fran Lebowitz, I haven't heard much from her lately, the writer, not the photographer, is Annie, but Fran Lebowitz would make these little social commentaries, a big New York figure. I don't know where she's been lately. But she used to say, listening is waiting your turn to speak.
Yep.
And that's not what we want. Of course, she's making a joke.
Right.
But listening is allowing yourself to be present, because it can be really scary.
Right.
So that's how I see it, and so that's why we do want to interact. It is about interacting. When Paula said, wait a minute, I went down to the CIA guy. But, it's new practices in a sense, because we're so used to quickly rushing in. We don't want to forget what we're going to say, and our egos are certainly there, but that's what makes us who we are. So it's not to reject anything.
That's right.
So, Marcus, can you explain, because Hella set the stage so well, why you didn't want me to interact with Harold and you felt that I wouldn't be successful? And then, Hella, I think you have a good comment to make on that I haven't heard yet, that Marcus will set the stage then for you.
I didn't think I say you be successful. I'm saying if one of my skills, as you know, is marketing, and I'm willing to not charge a penny to help spread the word through your channel, but to do so when it's Harold 24/7 is kind of hard for me to get a handle around. I just get the impression that he likes to talk. Sometimes I wonder if he talks to divert, and I want to promote your show. I don't want to promote Harold.
No, but see here, and Rosalie, I want you to understand this. What Marcus has rightly so pointed out, as guests, Harold has had people on the CRF or the Council for Foreign Relations. He knows all of these people as people. But I'm starting to evolve to a point where I'm not finding the enemy outside. I feel if I can conquer myself, much in the same way as this has been a rather grueling stream, because there's a lot of extreme emotions that come up, which I think is a good thing because we're human beings. It's a tough process.
I think what you're trying to say is that it's the CFR, Council of Foreign Relations, that Harold is friendly with all the members of the Council of Foreign Relations, which is a huge red flag for me. When you've got Zbigniew Brzezinski, and he thinks that he's a good guy, and this is the same guy who thinks world government and the annihilation of 85% of people because we're useless eaters is a good thing. I have a big problem with it.
Okay, but now that has been explained to me too. Harold thinks everybody's a good guy. Now then you get down to the point, well, if you don't stand up for what, for the good guys, then it's meaningless. And then we're back to Rosalie, who really takes a strong position on Edna Sintron.
Right.
You see, so sometimes you do have to stand up.
Yeah, I've studied this for 7 years, and every bit of me that has ever looked at a picture knows that Edna's real. Because she is such a small part before I make it larger, and that's what's unfakeable.
This is what is kind of inside sports about this Edna Sintron story, is that Edna Sintron, I believe, didn't come onto the surface until someone at 9/11 Movement by the username Malaprop, a.k.a. Izzy, said, take a look at these pictures of all the 9/11 jumper pictures, not the movies, the pictures, and not one of them is real. And I was the second one, I was the first one to reply and said, oh my God, you're right. And I said, this isn't good because...
You got snooped. It's not my fault. You got snooped. That's what a real picture looks like when it's a poor JPEG blown up big.
But you guys, I don't want this
Look like...
I want to kind of get back to that tone that Hella brought in. It's about
really?
It's about unity, and I don't want the unity to be at the expense of anybody not being authentic to themselves. And what I'm saying is I'm passionate about Harold Channer's work because at the basis is the notion of binary economics and that scarcity's been transcended. And
Paula, I have to interrupt, and that is this is being overthought. If people want to, and I like Harold very much, this is nothing about Harold as a person, but can't they go to his website and hear more of him? In other words, I kind of have felt, too, I want to hear more from you. That's all. It's not even, for me, I'm just talking for me. It's not so much about Harold, except I want to hear from you more, your show. And if you're saying you're not finding enough guests or people that are really stepping up to the plate, then I'd like to hear that, too. Because this isn't the Harold Channer show, is it?
Okay, as far as me, what's closest to my heart is I want to understand how to heal cancer, and the reason I'm interested in the human body is because I think it's the most powerful metaphor to bring balance into society. I believe that the World Trade Center came up like a tumor, and that everybody's.
Let's go back to Harold. Let's go one topic at a time.
Harold is the one that goes deepest for me.
Okay, well then that's great.
Then that's it.
That's it.
I mean and that's fine.
Then you have to make it, but here's the marketing decision you have to make. And this happens all the time in TV, and you know it, Paula, is do you risk growing your show because of your personal relationship with Harold?
No, because here Molly had an objection to something about Harold the other day, and she called him on it. And so once Harold understands that he needs to connect with an audience more, or maybe for the sake of disappointment, just like what you were saying with Rosalie, we don't want to say something to Rosalie to the point that she retreats. We don't want Harold to retreat either.
We don't want to shut anybody out, but it's you know, you could even
I want Harold Janner's
and
friends
take a poll. Would you like to see
to
more
know about Edna.
What's that?
Like Oprah Winfrey had that Dr. Phil guy, not that I want to promote anybody here, and then finally he got his own show. You know, there's a time when, you know, it's just, we want to see you. I want to see you. But again, I know I'm sincere when I say this. If Harold keeps your energy going in a direction and goes deeper, then like I was saying, then that's your answer. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's
what, at all on Harold.
No, see, here's the thing, Hella. I feel a lot of the people, like when I look at my commenters and the nasty ones even, or even the ones that are leaving praise, what makes me so sad is that people don't know how beautiful and how powerful and how deserving they are.
Yeah, but that's another topic again.
It's not another topic.
Harold one.
It's not another topic, Hella.
Topics, but
people believe that they deserve to be microwaved. People believe that somehow they deserve this official version. They believe they deserve it in their heart.
Done talking about Harold?
No, because no. Why I'm saying with Harold is the only way that they would not believe that they deserve it is that they're powerful enough to connect with the people that did it and say no more. Don't do this. That these are human beings to connect with. Whether it's Rupert Murdoch or the guy with the New York Times or the actor Gary Welts, they're all people who made a decision. And they're all people that we have to bring back to us.
Let me jump in with Gary Welts so anyone listening doesn't know. He's the one who dressed up in at least 3 disguises on 9/11 and claimed to be a witness.
And you know what, Hella?
Know that.
You know what, Hella?
Do you know that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cause you...
And I know that Rosalie, you know, has the same emotional energy against him that most people who are knowledgeable about this do. But guess what? This guy used to ask me out on a date relentlessly.
He did?
And that even confirms it.
many months ago.
You know Gary Welts?
I don't know where he saw me or where I met him, but he was so irritating to me.
Oh man, can you get him on a show and can I jump on?
Not at this point because now I think I've lined up too much, and there was another guy that would call me up and talk to me, and I was so tired, I didn't even have the strength to tell him goodbye. I fell asleep while he was talking to me. That's how hard I'm working. And Gary was just one of those guys.
Where did you meet him?
I don't remember where I met him.
I mean, was it over the phone? Or?
No, it was probably at one of Alan's New Age events. I mean, Alan's a very important guy. He's got a mailing list of 10,000. If I can get Alan on the same page, you know, we could...
Let me tell you something. If Gary Welts is at Alan's functions, you'll never have him on the same page. You know that.
I don't understand what you mean.
Just look up Brotherhoods. Look into Brotherhoods, Knights of Columbus, Masons, all that kind of stuff, and you'll see that there's an agenda.
I don't know what you mean. You
I don't want to get off.
And I'm agreeing with them.
I don't know what you're saying, though.
Get off topic here.
But Hella, do you understand what they're saying? And help me understand.
Well, I'm a little more stubborn. I still don't feel satisfied with the Harold answer, but if you do, then I'm more willing to move on. I like to go one subject at a time in general. Because the reason is because I feel like you've been so concerned about it and now you're not really addressing it. But that's your choice.
I told you, I like Harold Channer. I think he's very deep.
Do you think he's good for the show?
At a certain point, it's like Nico Haupt. I've said things and I've watched people unsubscribe to me. I watch the numbers go down. but I keep following my heart, and then they flurry, they'll go up again. It's just I haven't hooked the energy yet with Harold.
Do this. If you go to your YouTube channel and you look up when Harold's mostly in the picture, look at the amount of views, look at the amount of comments, and I think that scientifically will tell you your answer about if he helps the show or not.
Oh, no, I know he doesn't get the hits I do, for sure.
Supposedly, everybody, it's just a question, practically speaking, if it goes on too long, a dialogue with somebody, I sometimes feel it just goes on too long.
Right.
That's all it is. It's not even personality.
Well, I think what I'd like to do is, did you see the show that he did after you hung up?
Are you talking to me?
No, Hella.
I think I thought I saw one a day or so later.
I think I called it 9/11 TV Fakery, and
for me, I love having the show on every day as much as I can, and I mean I just enjoy it. But I'd like to see more variety. But I know it's hard too, and you need a break. But that's all it is. It's just I'm just your average viewer looking at shows, and I have my own attention span too, where I want to get to a point maybe quicker.
Well, what did you think, for example? Okay, my answer on Harold Channer is I want him to hook the energy with his knowledge up to my hits. Now, Ugly George got hits in the millions. He every day he gets...
Ugly George is quick.
Very quick, yep.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of people's attention span. Jackie Mason's quick. They appeal to kind of a quick mind.
Hella, let's be honest here. I mean, I dropped out of college to meet my wife. Mission accomplished. But I didn't learn all the highfalutin words that Harold uses, and that's very intimidating to me. And I just turn it off. You know that's true.
Yeah, that's a turnoff.
I never felt intimidated by him.
Not intimidated, but it's like
it's a little bit rambling.
Yeah.
But I enjoy him. But on the other hand, I'm like, I can't wait to hear more of what Paula's going to say or who she'll have on today. And I'm sympathetic to that if it's hard. I mean, I know she's carrying a hard load and doing this with a lot of energy. But, Paula, you also can't fall martyr. You've got to take care of the body. If you're falling asleep when somebody's talking, just from a mothering and sisterly point of view or human view, you need to take care of yourself.
No, this was at night, Hella. I was lying in
Whatever
bed.
it is, if you're that tired, it's a decision you have to make. Not to fall martyr. I'm working so hard. We're all working hard, and we all support each other as much as we can. But if you go down in your health, then there's nothing left.
Right.
There's no show.
Right.
Right, and we want,
Well, that's why I'm saying it's easy for you to say put another tape in, but each tape represents many hours of work I have to do.
I'm very aware of that. But you have the choice, too, when to stop the hours and when to rest. But I'm only bringing that up as Harold might be, in a way, a chance for you to rest a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But if you can get more people in, Ugly George is quick, faster, variety.
Right.
Well, he has an opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it is. He has opinions.
Yeah, but some people might want to hear Harold going on a little more about this. They might want so-and-so with the opinions.
No, I was actually writing and asking if Daddy or George would get you a laptop so you could host the show when I go up to M&N to shoot. Did you get that email?
I didn't hear the first part.
I would like you to have a PC.
Generally, not specifically right now, but I'm trying to tell you I understand it's hard work. I definitely do, and we all get to hop on and have fun, and then we're gone,
Right. And that's why with Rosalie, too, the work she's done with Edna and with the TV Fakery, it's just amazing.
But, Paul, I could line this up for you. I can get you Simon Shack, the guy who created that September Clues, great video.
Well, so could I.
No,
but so could you.
But the thing is, Marcus, let me tell you honestly now, with Molly, I wanted to tell Hella so she's on the same page regarding Harold. The one thing Molly was watching, because, she cares a lot about me, is that Webster Tarpley and Marcus Allen were performing intellectual terrorism on me.
Who said that, Molly?
Molly.
Uh-huh.
That's the term. She doesn't like it when people tell me what to think.
Right.
So when you were saying you didn't like Marcus, or you didn't like Harold, or you don't like Nico with the porno...
Is that what to think or opinion?
No, he said he wasn't going to market me.
Well, that's But wait a minute, I'm doing that for free. That comes with strings attached. We talked about that.
Yeah, but I don't want strings.
Well, you don't want somebody to control you or make your decisions, and you tell them that. That's all.
Yeah,
I say that Marcus is the heart of the op.
So the point is, this is what's so exciting about Harold and Free, and what Ugly George said. The reason his show was so great is because he had women that did not do it for money. It was free.
Right.
It came right from the heart. So
too, though, I don't buy that. That's another. I mean, I don't want to say I don't buy it, but I wasn't impressed with that remark at all. That's insecurity. That gets in. Look, at I'm in the world of appearance for women and men, and that's the one issue that I want so much to try to heal is women feeling good about their appearance. They don't have to show their breasts to feel good.
Hella, I want to show my breasts. Hella, listen to this. I want to show my breasts because I want people to know about the mammogram situation.
Okay, that's
I want to do it for breast cancer awareness. It's disastrous what's happened. People are so much ashamed. There were other societies where breasts were shown with pride. And all kinds, young breasts, old breasts, wrinkly breasts.
We all agree, but if I take a man into an alley and tell me to show him his penis and he does, I go, wow, I didn't even have to pay him to do that.
You're missing the point, Ella. You're missing the point. If it was that low and that bad, the show wouldn't have been what it was. People were ashamed to say they watched the show. You see what I'm saying? But the viewers...
That's a society thing. We're told to say that.
No, the viewers decided. That's what he's saying. He's saying it with Obama. He says, let the viewers, let the people decide.
But as Helen
Don't
said,
hide it.
You're not being given choices. You're not given real choices. You're giving one of them versus one of them.
No, but the thing is, I could tell...
Let the viewers decide. Porn, it's the same old thing put out there, and it often is in the guise of using women. So that's a hot point for me. I mean, that's one.
But then you have to watch the show that I did with him and see on the show, did I feel used by him? I love his energy. I love feeling empowered as a woman, even at my age.
I don't know if that's real empowerment, though. Why do we have to prove it to be empowered?
I don't want to be ashamed of the feeling I had. I really liked the guy.
Okay, that's good.
I could see how he did it, and actually I was so busy, I had to put on makeup and stuff, and so I said, come over into the bathroom with me, and he came in, because we were getting ready for the show, and I'm helping another person. We didn't have much time, and I wish I could have had the camera on for about those 5 minutes, where he starts to explain what he was doing. And prior to this, at Harold Channer's meetings, he was so obnoxious. Molly, as soon as I said the name, she goes, ugh, like that. And yet in 5 minutes, he told me, and I said, save it, because, sometimes your story is not fresh, so when the cameras are rolling, it's not spontaneous.
Yeah, that's hard.
But Paula, this is what...
And then at dinner, the stuff he told me at dinner was amazing. He said, people have been sent to Rikers Island for 6 months just for holding some pornographic images. The policemen would arrest them. And then women, he is so concerned, Hella, about women and their rights. Women could be arrested on the street for prostitution when they had nothing to do with prostitution. And the judges wouldn't even look at the film to see if it was pornographic, or wouldn't even consider what the woman was doing before he sends her off to prison, because they have an industry. He is close to this industry. He knows more about the protection of women and the rights of women. And yet it's relayed.
So exploits them at the same time, though. I mean...
He didn't exploit them.
Can't buy it. It's a little too Cinderella for me. But I'll watch it.
But Hella, you're doing exactly what you were asking Rosalie not to do. You're having a lot of loaded opinions on it. Which is exciting because you represent a market. There's going to be a lot of criticism.
I also want to watch the whole thing and not make quick knee-jerk reactions like I am. So far, it doesn't look too good to me, but I'll try.
Okay.
Watch it.
Okay. That's fair enough. But there's going to be a lot of criticism that I'm going to get for this Ugly George thing, probably more than directed energy weapons and Edna Sintron and the Tavistock, because it deals so...
Criticism's good criticism, isn't it? Any publicity is good publicity?
No, that's not true at all.
I was just wondering. I was testing that one.
No, that's not true at all.
We got this far.
No, look at 60 Minutes. If you're on 60... When Ed Bradley walked up and you're on 60 Minutes for ripping people off, that's publicity, and that's not good. You go out of business.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if Ugly...
Yeah, that was old. Well, anyway, yeah, I had some comments.
No, but if Ugly George really is the way Hella's describing, I don't think he could have been as successful as he was.
Who was being successful?
If Ugly George, if Hella's saying she will keep an open mind in spite of the fact, and she's recognizing she doesn't have an open mind, which I love about this conversation because it's so similar to what she was asking Rosalie not to do. So if Hella revisits the ugly...
I feel a little hurried, too, though. There's a little bit of a... You're coming from a little bit of an emotional attack, too. You're trying to figure it out. I mean, it's something that takes a little more time and thought to discuss. I feel hurried right now.
No, here's what excites me. If you can clone Ugly George with Harold Channer, you've got a winner. Yeah, really, Marcus. That's what I'm feeling. I'm on the verge of.
Oh, man. I don't think I'd ever tune in again. You know, we talked about a great book. It's half propaganda but half good, by Malcolm Poindexter, I think his name is. It's called Blink. Do you remember?
Oh, Blink. Yeah, Blink.
It's about how first impressions are everything, and I think that Hella is going through that. She got a glimpse of what Ugly George is about, and it just an instant, in a blink, she knew exactly what he was all about in a blink. So I don't think you need to hear the whole thing to get the impression.
Right. Well, you know, and I can talk about Woody Allen, too. I mean, I have a friend that won't even see anything because he's a misogynist. I mean, there's she'll never go past it. But I think there's good things he has to offer. I think Ugly George probably does, too. But don't take the pornography and women's issues lightly. It's a huge, very serious issue. Talk about 9/11 fakery.
Do you know what I think, Hella, causes cancer and breast cancer? I saw a picture of the cancer like exploded on a breast, and it's like a mushroom. It's like a fungus. So what I'm saying is that when you say don't take this lightly, I'm not into repression. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
That's why I want breasts to see that's why I want breasts to see the light of day.
And there's a lot of repressed people that are tuning into this, you know.
And they have cancer, so you want to give them something really...
You know, it's always what the intention is.
No, what did you say? I didn't hear.
The intention is. I've had people say to me, pornography only upsets me when the people really don't look like they're enjoying themselves. Right. No.
Right.
I mean...
Right. Right.
And it's the same thing if the women are... Well, I'm kind of bored with the topic.
No. This is very important. Pornography only looks bad when it looks like the people aren't enjoying themselves. Now here we go to a point where it's not even about pornography. If they're being paid for it, a lot of people will do things that they don't enjoy, but they're paid for it. And this is something I go round and round with Molly on. I'm telling Molly, you can feel better if you get up and watch the sun. She says, you have to pay me good money to get up and watch the sun, you know, because for some of the jobs that she gets big union wages for, she has to get up very early. So she's paid a lot for it. But if you think about it, there's another way to look at it. How sad when you won't do for your body what is biologically wonderful to do, which is watch the sunrise, unless you're paid. That for money, you'll do something that you don't want to do. That's really sad, and we're not even talking about sex.
True. That's the culture we live in.
And almost if you suffer, it's better, you know. I mean, what is the old Chopra thing, or Maharishi, whoever really said it, or maybe it just was statistics that most people have a heart attack Monday morning.
Right.
Because they're unhappy with their job.
Right.
That's a very important topic, and it's a programming thing we've all grown up with.
Right.
And that's why money is sort of evil, and we've talked about that before. I'd like to continue the conversation about porn and 9/11 and get Hella's view on that.
Okay.
Sure, if everybody's in on it.
Yeah. Rosalie?
And how much time do we have, Paula?
I have 40 minutes left on this tape, and then I've just got to cork it at 3 hours. I just can't handle anymore.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed myself. I said yes, Marcus, and now I'm feeling a little tired, but...
Can we do it tomorrow? Because I was going to sunbathe.
Let's start fresh. Is that okay, Marcus?
Sure.
Okay.
Rosalie?
I go anytime.
Is Rosalie still with us?
Truth Day.
I'm here.
Oh, she's still.
Well, I have off on Friday, so I'll take my day off on Friday. Sure.
Okay. Okay, so I will check out now, and see you tomorrow.
Thanks, and Rosalie, take care, and Marcus, talk to you, and everybody.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Okay. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye. And goodbye. That was quite an episode down the rabbit hole. And if there's any of my viewers that want to give me some comments on this, I'm very eager for feedback. Thanks.
Leave today at 2:52 p.m.
Hey, I'm also a fan of Aki George. He's a veteran of later stage reality TV porn. But please check out the Associated Press YouTube. Very important. YouTube.com/Associated Press. Right now, big shield bait on direct energy weapons versus plus Fakery. And the people posting over there, spamming links. Okay, I have to leave. And I'm not attracting a porn audience. I'm putting a political expression between music or art, expressing that no one else is speaking out politically. So this is a protest, transgression, satire, including pornation and sexploitation element. It's not to attract the porn audience. It's protest, because sex sells. Anyway, later, bye. Check out also my Robert Steele remix at 9 Sensor today.
To hear this message again, press 1. To save it, press 2. Your message will be saved for 30 days. Next message, received today at 2:58 p.m.
Yeah, before you shut down, please plug the Associated Press link at YouTube. Stream it down. Okay, whatever.